Let me ask you something. When you were growing up, what did success look like? For most people, it was simple: get a good education, land a stable job, buy a house, raise a family, and retire comfortably. The middle class. That was the dream. That was the finish line. But what if I told you that finish line was an illusion? What if the middle class, the thing millions of people are grinding toward right now, is actually one of the most financially dangerous places you can be? Not because of anything you did wrong, but because of how the entire system is built around you. Stick with me, because once you see this, you can't unsee it. Here's the core problem. Most people assume that earning more money means getting ahead. But for the middle class, that's not how it plays out. You get a raise, your taxes go up. Your rent goes up. Your lifestyle adjusts. And somehow at the end of every month, the number in your account looks almost exactly the same as it did before. That's not a coincidence. That's the squeeze. The cost of living, housing, groceries, healthcare, education has been rising consistently faster than middle-class wages for decades. So even when you earn more, your purchasing power is actually shrinking. You're running faster just to stay in the same place. And the worst part, it feels like your fault. Like if you just budgeted better or worked a little harder, everything would click into place. It won't. And here's why. Let's look at the actual numbers, because this is where it gets real. Over the last decade, average middle-class wages have grown by roughly 2% per year. The cost of living has grown by about 3% per year. That's a 1% gap. Doesn't sound dramatic, right? But on a $50,000 salary, that 1% gap means you're losing around $500 in real purchasing power every single year. Over 10 years, that's $5,000 gone, not from bad spending decisions, but just from existing in a system where costs rise faster than income. And we haven't even talked about housing. In many cities, rent has doubled in the last decade. Healthcare costs have outpaced inflation for years. And if you have kids and you're thinking about their education, that's a whole other financial mountain. So when people say they feel like they're drowning even though they're doing everything right, they're not being dramatic. The math actually confirms it. Now here's what makes this even harder to deal with: the emotional weight of it. Most middle-class earners were raised to believe in a simple contract. Work hard, be responsible, and you'll be rewarded. So when reality doesn't match that promise, there's this quiet psychological tension that builds. A feeling of confusion, shame, even failure. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, when what you believe and what you experience directly contradict each other. And living inside that tension, month after month, year after year, is exhausting. It affects your mental health, your relationships, your ability to think long-term. You get stuck in survival mode, just focused on making it to the next paycheck. That stress isn't a character flaw. It's a rational response to an irrational situation. So how did we get here? Because this didn't happen by accident. Over the last few decades, the economy shifted. Corporations have been posting record profits. Executive compensation has skyrocketed. But the wages for everyday workers, mostly flat when you adjust for inflation. The economic model that drives most countries today rewards capital, money that makes more money. It rewards ownership. It rewards assets. But it doesn't reward labor the way it used to. The middle class, which largely trades time for income, got left behind in that shift. And government policy, for the most part, has reflected the interests of those at the top. Tax structures, housing regulations, healthcare systems. All of it creates conditions where wealth compounds for the wealthy and costs compound for everyone else. This isn't a conspiracy. It's just a system. And like any system, it produces predictable outcomes. Right now, the predictable outcome is a middle class under serious financial pressure. So what do you actually do with all of this? The first thing, and this is important, is to stop blaming yourself. The financial stress you're feeling is not a personal failure. It is a structural problem that millions of people are experiencing right now, silently, while pretending everything is fine on social media. The second thing is to get informed. Because the people who navigate this successfully aren't necessarily earning more, they're thinking differently. They understand that a single paycheck is a fragile foundation. They look for ways to build income that isn't tied solely to their hours. They invest, even in small amounts, because they understand that money sitting still loses value over time. And they stop waiting for the system to fix itself, because it won't. The middle class squeeze is real. The numbers prove it, the psychology confirms it, and millions of people are living it every single day. But here's what's also true: awareness is leverage. Once you understand why the trap exists, you can start making deliberate decisions to step outside of it. Not overnight, not all at once, but step by step. You were taught to work hard inside the system. What nobody told you was that you also need to understand the system and sometimes work around it. That's what financial freedom actually looks like. Not a lottery win, not a lucky break, just clarity, strategy, and the decision to stop running on someone else's treadmill. You've got the picture now. What you do with it is up to you.